What if I told you that some of the most powerful civilizations in human history didn't fall slowly? They vanished. Entire empires that once controlled millions of people, massive armies, and advanced technology disappeared so completely that history barely remembers them. Their cities were swallowed by jungles. Their knowledge was buried beneath sand. Their stories were quietly removed from the record. And what makes this even stranger is that many of these civilizations didn't collapse because of war. They collapsed because of secrets. Secrets that were too dangerous, too powerful, or too destabilizing to survive. Tonight, you're about to step inside those forgotten worlds. These are the empires that history tried to erase, and the truths they left behind. The empire that ruled before Rome. Long before Rome built its empire, before Greece shaped Western civilization, there was another power that dominated Europe and the Mediterranean. They were called the Etruscans. For centuries, they controlled Italy. They built massive cities, had advanced engineering, and created one of the most sophisticated societies of the ancient world. Roman kings were once Etruscans. Roman architecture was inspired by them. Even Roman religion borrowed from them. And then, they disappeared. Their language became unreadable. Their libraries vanished. Their culture was absorbed and erased by Rome. What remains are fragments. Tombs filled with gold, strange symbols, and artwork that depicts rituals no one can fully explain. What makes the Etruscans so disturbing is that historians believe they may have had knowledge that Rome did not want preserved. Their writings described advanced astronomy, detailed maps of the heavens, and beliefs about human destiny that conflicted with Roman power structures. Rome didn't just conquer the Etruscans, it rewrote them. The lost superpower of the Indus Valley. Over 4,000 years ago, while Egypt built pyramids and Mesopotamia created kings, a silent superpower existed in what is now India and Pakistan. The Indus Valley civilization had clean running water, advanced sewage systems, and carefully planned cities. Their buildings were engineered with precision that would not be matched again for thousands of years. And yet, they left no grand monuments, no giant statues, no obvious rulers. Then one day they vanished. No signs of invasion, no mass graves, no burned cities, just empty streets. Even more mysterious is their writing. Thousands of seals exist with symbols that no one has ever decoded. We have no idea what they believed, how they ruled, or what caused their collapse. Some researchers believe they may have discovered something about the natural world that made their civilization unnecessary. Others believe they collapsed due to climate shifts that rewrote the geography of the region. But one thing is clear, a civilization that advanced does not disappear without leaving behind uncomfortable truths. The Maya, masters of time who walked away. The Mayan Empire didn't fall the way movies show. There was no final war, no invading armies, no apocalypse. Instead, their greatest cities were slowly abandoned. The Maya had mastered astronomy. They predicted eclipses. They tracked planetary cycles. Their calendars were more accurate than those used in Europe until modern times. They understood time itself, and then they left. Massive stone cities were swallowed by jungle. Temples remained standing but empty. People walked away from some of the most advanced knowledge on Earth. Why some scholars believe the Maya may have realized something terrifying, that their civilization was on a trajectory toward collapse. Instead of fighting it, they scattered. They preserved their bloodlines, not their cities. The Maya did not disappear, they dissolved. Atlantis, the empire that was too advanced. Plato wrote about Atlantis as a warning. A civilization so powerful, so technologically advanced, that it became arrogant. They controlled the seas. They built impossible structures. They understood energy and engineering in ways that would not be rediscovered until modern times. Then Atlantis sank beneath the ocean in a single day. Many historians dismissed it as a myth, but underwater ruins continue to be discovered. Ancient maps show land that no longer exists. Stories from cultures across the world describe a great flood that wiped out a global civilization. If Atlantis was real, its knowledge may have been too powerful to survive. Sometimes history doesn't destroy dangerous civilizations. Nature does. Why these empires had to disappear. What links all these vanished empires together is not war, it is knowledge. Advanced societies challenge power structures. They threaten religions. They disrupt control. When civilizations learn too much, they become difficult to govern. And in some cases, their own discoveries may become too dangerous to keep secrets. Don't just disappear, they get buried. The library that knew too much. One of the most dangerous buildings in human history was not a palace, a fortress, or a military base. It was a library. The Great Library of Alexandria was created to hold all knowledge of the ancient world. It contained texts from Greece, Egypt, Persia, India, Africa, and lost civilizations older than recorded history. Inside its walls were blueprints for machines, maps of unknown lands, and mathematical knowledge far ahead of its time. Then it was destroyed, not in one fire but through a series of quiet eliminations. Political leaders, religious authorities, and empires all had reasons to fear what it contained. Knowledge gives power, and too much knowledge creates rebellion. When the library vanished, so did entire histories. Civilizations we only know by name. Technologies that could have changed the world. Scientific breakthroughs that would not be rediscovered for centuries. The destruction of Alexandria wasn't an accident. It was an information purge. When empires discover the wrong truth, every civilization builds its power on a story, a religion, a royal bloodline, a belief system. But what happens when an empire discovers something that proves that story is false? This may explain why so many ancient societies vanished quietly rather than being violently destroyed. Some cultures learned that their gods were not divine. Others discovered that their rulers were not chosen. Some may have uncovered natural forces that made their power structures meaningless. When belief collapses, society collapses with it. History shows that empires do not always fall because of invasion. They fall when their illusions break. The empire beneath the sand. In the deserts of North Africa lies the lost city of Timbuktu. For centuries, it was the intellectual center of the Islamic world. It held thousands of manuscripts covering mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. Some of these texts describe technologies and discoveries far beyond what medieval Europe possessed. But when European empires arrived, these libraries were looted, burned, or hidden. Why? Because advanced African civilizations challenged the narrative that only Europe created knowledge. So the truth was buried. Why history is rewritten. We often imagine history as a timeline of facts. In reality, it is a battlefield of stories. Empires don't just conquer land, they conquer memory. They decide what gets taught. They decide what gets preserved. They decide what disappears. When a civilization threatens the dominant narrative, it becomes inconvenient. So it is ignored, misrepresented, or erased. The vanished empires were not weak. They were dangerous to the story of who controls the world. The pattern behind every lost civilization. Across every vanished empire, one pattern repeats. They reach a point where they understand something fundamental about the world: energy, time, human nature, or reality itself. And once they cross that threshold, they become impossible to control. So they are either destroyed or quietly forgotten. What they didn't want you to know. The most dangerous idea in history is not rebellion, it is understanding. The empires that vanished were not failures. They were experiments in human potential, and some of them went too far. If this changed how you see history, share this video, subscribe for more hidden truths, and comment below which lost empire you want uncovered next. Because the past is never really gone. It's just waiting to be remembered.